All right, sounds good. Just had to turn it up a smidge. Yeah. Good to go there. Yeah, I'm gonna refill my coffee. Be right back.
All right. Hey, Jake.
Dude, you started live streaming on YouTube.
How do you see? Can you see it?
No, I get notifications for left click stuff.
Lost my mouse. There. Does it look good?
Notifications for left click stuff. I'm looking at it.
Lost my mouse. There.
It's hot, dude. It's hot. I'll drop that like.
Yeah. Should I post it on Facebook?
What do you mean?
Should I post it on Facebook?
Yeah, dude.
Or should I post the Twitch one on Facebook? Is Chris streaming it?
No. Yo, dude. Did you ever give me creds for some nomenclature or no?
Probably. You go look.
All right, checking. Yep, checking now. Gonna be super triggered if not.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Stream health.
I don't even know how to find the nomenclature anymore. Let me see.
What is the link to this?
Link to what?
Oh yeah, Chris, you gonna yell at me?
No, I just said link to what? Ask him what you're talking about. Goddamn, man.
Goddamn, man. The stream, the YouTube version.
Oh.
How does one watch this?
Still no creds. Triggered.
Jake, you know, if you actually joined the left click culture, you'd have creds, because then you could just go edit it
Right.
yourself.
What is my title? Depends
I don't know,
what my
dude. What are you
title
gonna
is.
do? That's the question.
Right now it's podcast guest.
Yeah, bitch. What are you gonna do?
Podcast guest.
I'm a podcast guest.
Feels like it's good enough. It feels like I can put that on my resume.
And your resume. I'm gonna put that on my
Needs to be good
resume.
enough to put on. It needs to be good enough to put on LinkedIn.
The lunk it in. I was a podcast guest on the Left Click Culture podcast back in late 2016 as they were growing their community, and as they grew, man, did they bring my brand up in awareness. A kind, giving culture that loves hearing feedback from its users. Let's give it up for Left Click Culture.
Yo, dude. So Amazon Prime
Whoa.
over here only costs 20. So I bought a green screen in preparation.
Oh yeah, you could have just said you bought a green screen. You didn't have to pick up the fucking thing and
Cellophane.
I wanted to show you. Bought
wonderful
I
job.
would have believed you.
But no, dude, I had to show you. And I bought, where'd they go?
Holy shit!
Clamps.
Just put it down.
But I didn't realize that my order got split up into 2 orders, and one of them didn't get like same day shipping.
Ooh.
So maybe next week.
Sucks.
Same day shipping. How do I fucking? Where's the link to this stream, dude?
Should be just whatever is in your
Oh, there it is.
URL.
Holy god, that was annoying. Sorry, friends. You guys want me to tag you on Facebook or leave you out?
You could tag me.
I could be tagged.
I will allow you to tag me.
Yeah, apparently that's a thing now. You have to like ask people, like it's like we're having sex or something. You know.
No, we didn't say
Do
we're
you
gonna go
agree
public
to
with
have
it.
sex with me via social media by me tagging you in this post? Do you agree with this?
Via Facebook.
Can you sign this with a digital signature,
Yes.
please?
Got to make sure it's a consensual tagging. You don't want
Yes.
it to come back to bite you in the ass.
Honestly,
of
dude, I
course.
really wish that I could Facebook live stream through my PC.
You can, dude. OBS, bitch.
Oh, really? That's an
Yeah.
option?
You just fill it. You just use the server, the Facebook Live server, and then you just use the stream key, and then it works. It just
How do
sounded
I get
like
a stream
shit.
key?
You go to your Facebook Live publishing tools. You gotta have a page, so you'd have to have a page to do it from.
I do have a page, but
Okay, let's stream from there.
it would be a cancerous page.
What'd you get?
Alright, are you gonna tag me or not?
Yeah, I'm trying to do something. It's not showing like a video, but that's cool. On this podcast, left click culture. Got him.
So you know that 2-person podcast that you listened to a while ago, Joe?
Yeah.
About not being good at the physical world.
Yeah.
One of the guys on that yesterday, he tweeted out a link about the history of the AeroPress. He's like, this makes for some good like light Saturday afternoon reading, and actually sat down and read it, and it was pretty interesting.
The history of the what?
The AeroPress,
Oh.
That's funny.
made by a company known for making frisbees. Their first like non-toy product. It's all about the guy who invented it and different stuff he went through and how he had to like invest thousands of dollars to get the molds made himself to prove that it could be done and all that kind of stuff. That was a slow start and they almost gave up on it a couple times. There's some good reading.
This has been shared with my timeline.
This has been shared on my timeline. Did make sure it was consensual sharing on your timeline. Oh, Jake shared your post. That means it's consensual. The blank fucking window. Thanks, YouTube, for the awesome... Oh, it's probably because I didn't add a thumbnail, huh? Change thumbnail. I don't have one.
Oh, sweet. Does that mean you're making this week's thumbnail?
Nope.
Actually, no, we're going live in a minute, so I can't throw it together real quick.
I'm just going to set it as the Ryan Gosling picture
Okay, that's fine.
that I have from my desktop.
All right, so you guys remember the deal. Black screen, intro, hear me talk. It's okay to talk.
When?
Never mind,
did I
I'm just
talk?
going to mute this window. After you hear my voice.
I can mute myself.
It's fine.
You can't trust me.
Yeah, won't stop Joe from talking. Yeah, alrighty. I'm gonna get things ready. So here you go. 3, 2, 1.
It's just funny, like,
Welcome everybody.
when someone tells you to be
God
quiet.
damn it, Joe.
I thought you were muting it.
As soon as I unmuted it to talk, you came back up. Anyway, welcome everybody to a special bonus
Welcome
episode of
everybody,
Love
like,
the Culture podcast.
God
My
damn
name
it,
is
Joe.
Chris, and for whatever reason, the intro didn't work, so we're off to a fantastic start today. We are once again joined by Jake. How you doing, Jake?
I'm doing all right. I'm glad to be back, seemingly segueing myself into maybe a full-time position here.
It's nice
on
to
the,
have you back.
podcast, so.
Glad you decided to come back and that we didn't scare you away after the first one. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm doing pretty good, Chris. You know, I'm just ready to interrupt tonight, and that's really I brought my A game, so.
Always
No,
ready
no.
for that, man.
No, we're slowing Joe down tonight. We're slowing Joe down. We're talking more than him. We're talking over him.
Yes, exactly.
Like always.
They call me the interlude.
The interlude.
Yes.
Yes, you are certainly some form of lewd.
Yes. Lude.
Anyway, happy to be back, guys. Got the text that we could do in a special episode of the podcast, and I was just like, I'm absolutely down. And so here we are.
Yeah, it
with,
was all Jake's idea. Really. Fucking Jake.
I loved it that much. So.
Oh, I'm happy to hear, man. Yeah, we finally figured out our new schedule, said we we're going to stick to it, and then week after that, something changes. Just like always. Wouldn't be a Left Click Culture podcast if it was on time or at a regular interval. So, gotta love it. Making stuff as always. But yeah, it's been a pretty good weekend so far. I can't really complain. Had a good week since the last podcast. Don't know about you guys.
Yeah, long week, but
Yeah.
good.
Seemingly uneventful.
Joe's been busy literally weathering a storm.
Yeah.
since the last episode of the podcast.
Yeah, there was so much storm here. I was so scared to die. Not really. Like I went to Walmart and I was like, watch, where I am, there's not gonna be any like there wasn't water. Like there legit was not water. So I was like, okay, well I guess I'll buy some water. But like I had like on my counter, like I had like water and granola bars. Like that's how seriously I took the hurricane thing. Like I was telling people at the office, like that scene from The Office where Michael goes out into the wilderness to like prove that he's like a wilderness man, and Dwight like follows him to stop him from eating mushrooms or whatever. But
leave food out for him.
yeah, so I was like telling people, I was like, that will be me. I'll be like ripping my pants and making hats and things like that if there's a hurricane, because I think I've watched Bear Grylls so many times that I know what I'm doing, right? But then I'm like the one screaming the most when there's a real storm or something. So it's
awesome.
just the truth.
Awesome. Oh, good to hear you didn't have anything too serious to worry about.
Yeah, I know.
Unlike some of those other people. Forgot to mute push bullet like always. Getting them notifications. Yeah. How about you, Jake? How's your week been since the last podcast?
It's been kind of uneventful. I played, actually, was super happy last night. Had played a lot of Counter-Strike through the week. That's really all I've played. Maybe a little bit of Rocket League with Joe, but had some internet connection problems. But last night, opened up GTA 5 for the first time in over about 9 months. And
nice.
Wanted something that, wanted to play a game that was kind of more relaxed, because I've been playing competitive games, H1Z1, Rocket League, Counter-Strike, Overwatch. Wanted something where I could just relax, a little bit of, shooting, or a little bit of intense moments, but really, really enjoyed playing GTA 5. So very, very good times in there last night.
Yeah, Chris plays that shit all the time.
Yeah, now that I've found a group of people that actually play it consistently now, we've been going through and checking out the updates every time they go live, and it's been fun. It's nice. It's a good game for just getting a bunch of like friends together and just messing around for a couple hours or whatever you want to do in it. Especially when you haven't played in such a long time and there's a bunch of new stuff to check out.
Right. Yeah, that was the most exciting thing, was all the new stuff and all the new items and this or that. It's been 9 months, so there's a good amount that I need to catch up on. And I don't know exactly what they're called, but like the impromptu game modes and stuff.
Those little bonus objectives that pop up.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
I enjoyed blowing up like $2 million worth of cars
and then getting rewarded for it.
And not having the cops on me. So
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I think
And then you come to the sad realization that you can't afford any of the new stuff that's come out in the past 9 months because it's all like $8 million or something.
That's very true. Yeah.
You know what ruined that game for me though, really, was that like hacker dude that just unloaded so much money into me. Like I have like 30 mil still, I'm just like sitting on. I bought.
You would go through that in a night.
Yeah, I know, but like legit, like that game was pretty fun. It was just hard to get people to play, right? And I think that's what it was, that we stopped playing. Like you can have some fun because it's not like super like aggro or like CS or something else where you have to be really focused, and it's just kind of like you can just mess around and slam your bikes. Like I think I played that long enough to make one video, right? And most of it was just me throwing dynamite out the window. And then and it's like, I remember there was a quote from you, Chris. You're like, Mark's like, Joe's been doing what he's doing all night. And you're like, what? Throwing dynamite out the window? Yeah, that's pretty much all I did in GTA for like a straight 2 months. Throw dynamite at people and blow them up.
Yeah, man. I've got a solid group of people that I play with now. So if you guys ever want to play, I can definitely pull those guys in. And we've got maps ready. We've got whole playlists. So we can do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a lot of fun.
That's one of the things that I didn't really jump into, because sometimes I see every once in a while a big streamer like Summit or something will jump into a game. Really, really fun to watch. Really, really funny just in general, with custom game modes and stuff. But didn't really delve into that. Just checked out all the new stuff, and that was just fun enough for me for the couple hours that I played.
Fair enough. It'll make for some good content too. Oh, there goes my webcam.
Damn.
Yay, working as intended. Why did it disable it? Something about processing issues.
Was it as soon as your shirt comes off, it just turns off?
Yeah, it's just like, it's not used to seeing me in such dark colors. But yeah, a lot of fun. Looking forward to playing with it now that I know you guys are possibly interested. We can maybe drag Joe in long enough.
No, I told Joe is your
have some
download should
fun.
be done by now.
Yeah,
I told him to start downloading it.
Yeah, I think I have.
That's
it
the
now.
other thing. It's like a 64
Yeah.
gig download or something stupid.
It's like World of
that.
Warcraft, but a fucking ghetto version or something.
Get a fish. Jesus.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, real quick, speaking of Grand Theft Auto, one of the big releases since the last podcast was Mafia 3. And it's one that I had been like keeping my eye on kind of like very loosely, nothing too serious. And then it comes out and it doesn't support 60 FPS on PC at launch. And it looks like it came out maybe 5 years ago. I wasn't too impressed with the launch of Mafia 3, and it didn't seem like a bunch of people were either. I don't know if it's one that you guys have taken a look at all.
No, I have not. I wish Gare was here because I know it seems like from the amount of time he was playing, he was kind of grinding Mafia 3 for the weekend.
Yeah.
But no, personally not.
Okay.
Mafia 3.
Yeah.
So what is Mafia 3?
I figured you probably hadn't heard of it. It's
Yeah, if
the
it's not
third game
mainstream.
in the Mafia franchise.
Out of the 3 games I've actually played.
Yeah. Just a quick aside that made me think of it when we were talking about GTA. Just like none of the videos I saw about it that were released this week painted it in a very good light. And I guess the 60 FPS patch went today, but there are other problems with like the AI and lighting effects. So not exactly the best launch for a AAA game.
Yeah.
See if they manage to tail that in or reel that in at all, fix that. It's kind of hard to do that when it's broken at launch, though, and it gets such a bad rapid start. It's pretty hard for those companies to recover from that.
Yeah. Unless, you know, like some diehard people that are like staying with it, I guess.
Yeah. I know a bunch of people in Lawrence's chat are not a bunch of people, a couple people are playing it and enjoying it still, despite its problems.
Wow, way to exaggerate. Oh, God damn.
Hey, some people are okay with playing somewhat broken things. Not one of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so I sadly did not end up picking that one up because it was broken. And there's a bunch of other games coming out over the next couple months anyway, so not a bad problem holding off my money for one of those other games.
I did get the opportunity this week to watch Chris stream a little bit, so that was eventful.
That was, yeah, it's trying to do the stream things regularly, still having fun, trying to play some spooky games for October, with the exception of Friday. Friday is when I do my chat stream interactive days, and that's when chat gets to play games either with me or play as part of the games through games like Choice Chamber or Party Hard or that kind of stuff. Been still having fun with it. Been doing it since April now, pretty regularly. A lot of fun. I'm glad you tuned in. Glad you had a good time.
Are you calling that Spooktober? Is that what I saw?
Yeah, something like that. Spooktober.
It's pretty cool. I always
It's,
liked APB's Halloween event. That was probably my favorite part about APB. Is their Halloween event was all really. I really love Halloween. Like, you know, before college, I pretty much watched Halloween Town religiously. You know, like I love Halloween movies. I love Halloween, but I hate dressing up. You know, like that Nick Miller costume where he's like B. Anthony or whatever. That's like exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, we were talking about Halloween Town the other day in Discord, trying to figure out a movie night to watch that, just because why not? You know, we were all how old when that came out, and so we think watching it now would be pretty fun.
Yeah. There's one night at Buff State where we were in the design room and we just put it up on the projector for Halloween. Like we were like all working on design projects and we're like, whatever, we'll bring Halloween Town, and I like brought it in, you know, on a DVD because I had it obviously.
Because yeah, why not?
Why not? So yeah, we watched it. It was pretty awesome.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it was.
That's one thing.
Fun time.
Sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna say that's one thing I'm surprised that Grand Theft Auto never really got behind is like bigger holiday redecorations. Sure, they make it like snowy come wintertime, and for like 4th of July and whatever, they release special clothes, but they don't really ever change. You don't like go and add pumpkins to Los Santos or whatever. It always looks the same.
Yeah.
I think it'd be kind of neat if they did that.
Yeah, I think it's a gamer's first thing for sure.
Content. Yeah.
Like I remember in early Warrock maps, there was like a winter version of maps, there was a Halloween version of maps, and that was one of the things they always did really well was like brand the seasons, and then they'd sell you like gear based on the seasons, you know.
Yeah.
So
That provides me a pretty good segue into the first actual topic that I wanted to talk about today, and that is the Halloween leak for Overwatch. I don't know if you guys have seen much about this, but it is rumored, at least based on this leak, that we will be getting a Halloween event in Overwatch, complete with new loot boxes, new skins, new sprays, similar to the Summer Games event, but all Halloween themed. It's pretty exciting. I know I'll be spending a little bit on it, at least, just like I did with the Summer Games, depending on how cool the skins are and whatnot. But one of the other things that leaked alongside this information is the comic that they're supposed to be releasing with it. And in the comic, we see like a mad scientist Junkrat. We see a Frankenstein Roadhog, a witch Mercy, like an evil Knievel soldier, which isn't really his costume because he already has that skin. At least I hope so. So we get kind of like a little preview of stuff we're supposed to see in this update once it releases. And I'm glad to see that Blizzard's continuing these themed little skin packs because it's fun. And it's always nice to see new stuff added to the game.
Yeah. It always, I feel like with those themed events, like even if like your monthly players or your weekly players or your active players per day are slipping, I always feel like having the events always brings everyone back together and to love the game for, at least a little bit of time at the beginning of those events.
Yeah, I agree. It always gives people just like, oh, new stuff, I should log back in and check that out.
Like I haven't played Overwatch in a while, but if like right now they released a Halloween update, I'd check it out again and I'd play for a little bit.
Yeah, try to get some loot boxes, mess around. And there's even supposed to be a themed game mode, supposedly, according to the leak, where you're like stopping, what do they call it, like Zomnics or something like that. And, this is from PC Gamer, and it says, there's a bit of text. Okay, it's a brawl. So there's a bit of text describing what is likely a new brawl. That's true. It'll involve protecting the castle doors from Zomnics and Dr. Junkenstein's evil allies. It'll have 3 difficulty levels, which is pretty neat. More points for playing on the hardest. So we'll see, like, it sounds like a one team-based brawl where you're like defending a castle from AI, and I think that's pretty awesome. That's definitely a different brawl type than they've done before, if this is true at least. That could be a lot of fun. It almost reminds me of maybe the Man vs. Machines update that TF2 did. And that's another game that's really big on those holiday updates, is Team Fortress. But I think if we get a horde mode style game in Overwatch, that's pretty neat. I'd be down to play that for quite a while.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think they realized that with WoW too, right? Like what a long strange trip it's been. Like the introduction of when they tied drakes and mounts to long time achievements, they realize, oh well, if we incentivize a little bit, we can string them together and incentivize a lot of bit. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, keep people playing, keep people paying for it. But yeah, I never did. I think that one achievement that comes out in Halloween time and WoW, where you have to like go get candy from each of the taverns, I never bothered to do that. I would like hit up the taverns that I was nearby, but I would never like go through and do all of them because I just didn't care that much.
Yeah, there's just so many to do. I feel like it's just tough.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, those people that have gone through and done all the achievements, I don't know what else they do with their lives besides eat and sleep and poop. It's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think you guys would make fun of me if I told you the game that in the past I religiously did all of the holiday themed events.
RuneScape.
Dude,
I've played a fuck ton of WoW. Like, I'm not like kidding. Like, I've slept in my computer chair to wake up for the next raid kind of thing. But yeah. I definitely did not do that much time in achievements. It's like so meticulous. It's like doing the same Diablo tile set for like a year, It's just that awful.
Yeah, we've all had our gaming vice where we like gone through it and played it religiously. For some of us, it's somewhat decent games, and for others, it's RuneScape.
Yeah, RuneScape.
But I played a little bit of RuneScape like when it first came out, and it just wasn't for me. I didn't like the way the combat was and any of that kind of stuff, so I didn't ever play too much of it. It never grabbed me the way it did other people. Yeah, everybody's got that game where they'll go through and they'll do stuff to do it just because they like doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Fucking Division thought it was going to be that game.
Oh, dude.
And then it just
I quit that so early. Remember, as soon as the fucking table stopped working, I was like me and my stubbornness. I was just like, this didn't work 3 times in a row. I'm done. Like it was like that like weekly dungeon, and then you get like these like points, right? And then you could use the
Phoenix
table.
credits. Yeah.
Yeah, you could use the Phoenix credits to like reroll gear, and I was like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna reroll these stats because I'm gonna be baller, right? And I get the stats I want. Yeah, get the stats I want. Doesn't work. Do it twice. Doesn't
It selects
work.
a different stat.
Yeah, I'm just like this.
It was a
game's
bug that was
broken.
early on in the game, and then rather than stopping and saving his Phoenix credits, Joe would do it again,
Nope.
trying to get it to work.
Nope. It should have
It
worked.
didn't for,
It
like,
should have worked. And then we
a
went
month.
on this whole rant like for like 2 hours. I was bitching about this, and then Chris and Nick were like, "Nah, it's the new game." And then I was like, "Okay, I'm done with this game now."
That wasn't even our point at the end of it. Though. Our point of it was just stop spending your goddamn Phoenix credits and wait until they fix it.
I didn't want to wait for them to fix the table. It should have just worked the way I wanted to min-max like immediately. That's how I am.
There wasn't even any end game like content out at that stage,
That's not
and you
the
were still
point,
trying to
Chris.
min-max.
I want to be the
forward.
min-max king.
Oh, then all you had to do was edit your client-side information so you could hack in the dark zone like every 2-bit
yeah.
piece of shit that we came across out there.
Well, it's like one of those times when we were invisible. Did you ever see those? Like Nick and I would just
Yeah.
we were running around. That was crazy.
It's so much promise, and then just fucking
It was like delayed
got
like
your own
3
goddamn
years.
dollar
too.
flu. Yeah.
Like I thought I was gonna have to quit APB to play it, and then it was just like, well, I've already quit APB like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Is there anything that you think that they can do to get you to play that game again? Is there enough of a content update that they can make to get you to check it out?
Make it a fucking real MMO. Like have make it Warcraft with guns.
It's interesting.
They have the time. They have the basis down, right? I mean, it's a good
So
game.
you would want to see
The quests are good.
Yeah, they were fun.
The quests are fun. It's the PvP that sucks. It's the promised PvP that sucks. The anticipation of it being better. I think they should make it more in depth, expand on what they have, and make more of a storyline so it's more like an MMO, right? Or an RPG, I guess it would be.
They've released 2 expansions now,
Okay.
and I think the third one's coming out later on. But from what I see, it's like more the same essentially,
Yeah. Here's another boss to kill for 3 months.
pretty much.
Yeah, it's like you can't
It's a
just
fun way
jump
to
right
win.
into the fucking new Warcraft model where they just put shit on the table every 10 hours. You know, like you can't just do that when you're a new game. Like you have to be a game for 8 years and then be like, okay, now that our user base is dwindling and we have all these people that just want casual play, here's a raid. Here's a raid. Here's a mount. Here's a raid. Here's a pet. Here's a raid. Here's a mount. Here's a raid. Here's a garrison. Here's a garrison. Here's a raid. You know, just like spoon feed them.
Doling
You know,
out
here
stuff.
comes the content.
Soon, TM.
Yeah.
Fucking A. Before I get too far, well, we've already gone a bit off my initial topic, but the other thing that was in that leak was our first image of Sombra, supposedly, who has been teased for quite a while now. And anybody who follows Overwatch, like, pretty intensely will have at least heard the name Sombra before, because Blizzard has been teasing her for quite a while now. And with this leak, we've seen maybe our first picture of her. It looks like Overwatch art. It looks like an interesting character, but we have no confirmation. If everything's supposed to be believed, it'll all be announced on October 18th. So I guess we'll have to wait 9 more days and see if that's true. I'm ready for a new hero, though. I think pretty much everybody else is. And if they announce the event then right then too, it'll be a good time.
I'm not gonna play Overwatch.
We'll get you to play at least a little bit.
So the question is, what?
Cool
Yeah.
skin.
The question is, what aren't you going to play? The question is, what will you play?
I don't know what I will play. Bloxers? I really like Bloxers. That's a good
What the
game.
fuck is that?
I've actually been doing this like JavaScript stuff on this app like before I go to bed.
I've
So,
seen this before.
Yeah.
What is it?
So
Some stupid
Can you see this?
Unity survival horror game.
No, you can't. What are you
No,
talking
you can't.
about?
Not at all. Bloxers.
Oh, Bloxers is great, dude. It's like this little thing you do with your like little arrow keys, and you move blocks are around. It's like a little puzzle game. Anyways, I've been doing like this JavaScript stuff, and I do it on my phone in this app, and that's kind of what I play, pretty much.
You play Java. You were telling me about this app.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's actually really cool.
Oh god, I played Blocksters like 7 years ago when
Do you
I had
remember
free
Blocksters?
time when I had
Dude,
downtime
it's
in a
challenging
computer
as
class.
fuck. Yeah, like once you get to like level 20, it's like holy shit, how do I roll my block around? And that's when it gets real hard. That's when you're like questioning your life. You're like, oh my god, I can't figure this out. Who am I? You know, it's a sad thing.
Can't say I've ever played Blocksters.
That's all I played in like any class that was not entertaining to me. I would just pull up Blocksters and throw down.
We'll convince Joe to play something, be it GTA or Overwatch. I'm not concerned about that.
I might play GTA. I'm more willing to play GTA than Overwatch at this point.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I miss
There's lots
driving
of,
my
like-
car. That's really what I miss.
Lots of good cars to drive now.
Yeah.
They've added some like really sweet supercars
You're a supercar.
and motorcycles. The whole last update was all motorcycles. So if you're into motorcycles, there's a bunch of new ones to choose from. Only one of them's any good, but there's a bunch of new ones to choose from.
Classic
to fit your
meta.
style. Yeah. And the one that's good is like $2 million or something stupid like that.
Dude, I have bank. I
GTA
get a
for ya.
401k in GTA, so
Cool. You can start our own operation, and then we can have a business in the game, and then we can go do missions for that business.
really.
Yeah, that was the finances and felony update. That was 2 updates ago, I think.
Huh.
Yeah, you can start a company in the game, and then you recruit people for that company, and you can make them wear whatever you want to within reason.
Within reason.
And then they can protect you, and you pay them like a salary depending on how well they protect you. And then you go and you get illegal shipments of items for your company so that you can sell them out to make more money for what it costs to bring them in. And that's like a little mission and stuff because you have to go and retrieve them, and other people are trying to like stop you from getting them. Other companies are, and bring them back to your base.
You get to pick your
And then you have a
product.
warehouse. Sort of. They give you like 3 options depending on how much of it you want to buy, and it'll be anything from like drugs to electronics to I've even seen some like pictures of like ivory and that kind of stuff. So it's interesting.
Huh.
Yeah.
Gangster.
The size of your warehouse determines how much product you can hold at a time, which changes your turnover and all that kind of fun stuff. And then the newest one, you can start a biker gang, and they have their own missions that are longer form missions from what I understand. I haven't exactly had a chance to check it out myself. But from what I understand, it's like a longer form mission version of the CEO update. So yeah, there's plenty to do. In addition to all the new game modes that they've added.
It sounds super fun and stuff. Except for it's in GTA, so.
There's a single shot grenade launcher they've added now. That's a lot of fun. You can fire it from a bike, which is pretty sweet. So
I
if you
like that.
how GTA plays, yeah. If you like how GTA plays, then you'll have fun doing the missions. If not, then it's just more GTA. More driving and shooting and blowing shit up, essentially.
Blowing shit up. That's like one of my favorite lines that I can't say, but because nobody understands it. You know, like the movie Accepted?
Yeah.
That guy's like, I want to learn how to blow shit up with my mind. Like, I love that scene. And at the end of the movie, he like blows up like something, and he's like, "Whoa," you know.
Yeah.
And but nobody can, you're like, "What is that? What movie?" Yeah, one of those.
It's been a long time since I've seen that. I should watch that.
A
again.
long time.
Yeah, well, when I got a thing in a flyer in my mailbox that said "shit," I was like, "Hell yeah, this movie's gonna be great." Because it's South Harmon Institute of Technology. And it was funny because it was like right as I was applying to colleges, right? I was like senior year of high school that came out, I think. So yeah.
I'll add it to my long list of movies I need to watch.
Yeah, I like Justin Long, man. He's really good.
Yeah.
He's
Like
not in
Going
enough
the
stuff.
Distance. Going the Distance with Drew Barrymore is pretty fucking good too. It's one of my favorites.
A lot of those early 2000s comedies.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's where I found out about Boxer Rebellion. That's when I started getting into indie music. It took a rom-com to get me into indie music. Well, I was kind of into it before then, but like it really was like, okay, discover new music, Joe. Because this whole character is about like, music business. So
Who's the guy that does like Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist and that guy.
Oh, you're talking about
All the movies like in that series
Fuck.
that use those super indie soundtracks that exposed a lot of people to it, a lot of new music.
he's
I
also
think.
in Arrested Development.
Oh, I'm talking about like not Michael Cera, but like
Oh,
the
okay.
production level. I thought it was the director, but the name
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
familiar. But yeah, like a lot of movies like those turned a lot of people on to some super indie
Yeah,
music.
Nick and Nora is also a really good one. I love that one.
Yeah. Since we're talking about movies, I also saw the trailers for Power Rangers, the new Power Rangers, and John
Power
Wick 2.
Rangers.
Those were released this weekend. Power Rangers is fucking weird, man. It starts out like this weird, like dark, grungy Breakfast Club kind of feel, and then it turns into them like finding the alien stuff and gaining superpowers essentially because they all become super strong even without the suits. And then at the end, it like shows them the suits like crawling onto them in this weird venom-like way. And I was just like, well, that was something.
So it's like one
I don't think
size
it's
fit
gonna be
all
good.
kind of thing.
Yeah, it looks like pretty generic.
Yeah.
Like nonsense. That Power Rangers short film that was released on YouTube forever ago, that dark and gritty one,
Oh,
looked
yeah,
way
that
better
one.
than whatever that's going to be.
I haven't seen that one either.
People know what I'm talking about. And it's called like Power, Rangers or something like that. I don't remember. I'll find it and I'll put a link to it if it hasn't been DMCA'd.
I think it's Power Semicolon Rangers actually.
But yeah, and then John Wick 2. I haven't seen the first one, so that's what made me
Oh,
think
the
of it.
trailer.
Adding the list of my movies. Yeah, the trailer for
Yes.
John Wick 2 came out.
Saw that.
And it looks like a good action movie. I can't complain.
I don't know. I was telling Nick the other day. I was like, I can't look at action movies and get excited anymore. I don't know what it is. Like they're
Power
just
Dash Rangers, that's what it was.
they're just like fucking action movies, you know? It's like I watched The Bourne Supremacy the other day. It was like he never sat down. There was no like point where he was like, I'm gonna have a cup of coffee. You know, it was just like I'm running
I gotta watch that one
through a
too.
coffee shop, I'm running through the street, I'm running into car, I'm driving a car, I'm crashing a car, I'm swimming, I'm dying, I'm alive. Bourne Supremacy, you know, it's like we know what to expect. It's the same thing with John Wick. You're gonna see a lot of shooting. You're gonna see like Matrix style shit. It's just like
Yeah.
it's gonna be a
I'm
good
okay with
movie
that,
for
though.
action. Yeah, I mean,
That's all. I just want to like
Yeah.
turn my brain off and watch really cool shit happen in front of me. That's all I want from the movies like that.
yeah. I don't know, dude. I really like substance like that. I want to be moved. You know what I mean? I want to see a
Yeah.
movie and I want to be like.
I'll go see a different kind of movie if I want that, but
Yeah,
sometimes I just
totally.
want like stupid action, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I just want to see stupid funny. Like those are my favorite things to see are like stupid funny and stupid action.
Yeah, unfortunately over here it's like I see trailers for new movies and I see new movies being released, but I can't get anything until it's on iTunes or on, Putlocker or something that I can illegally watch it or or a way where I can rent it or purchase it legally.
There's no like global release dates for stuff like that. Like you can't go to a movie theater.
Some bigger movies, but for the most part, like in Spain, it's all about like romantic comedies and dramas. It's not there's not a lot of like action sci-fi releases. So it's unfortunate because not the overwhelmingly dramatic comedy type guy.
Just hop on a train to France and then take the TGV over to England and go catch the movie releases over there.
Oh yeah, so I was telling Jake about the first like restaurant ever made in like Madrid, and he's like, "Well, if there's a waiting list, I really don't want to go." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? The first fucking restaurant ever in the world, and you don't want to go to it because there's a waiting list?" Okay.
That's the purpose of a waiting list, though. You can put your name on it, and then when your time comes, hey, cool, it's my turn. I
My
can go
time
now.
might be 6 months from now.
That's true.
Just go, dude. Shut up.
But that sounds
Okay.
like one of those experiences where just like,
We can-
yeah, it
we
might
can
take a
talk
while,
about-
but I'm going to try to do it.
We can talk about it on next week's podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I'll visit it.
Okay,
You can give
we'll
us
get an
a
update,
review.
see if you put your name on the waiting list. So speaking of movies, I went to a movie theater last night to watch the live broadcast of Rooster Teeth's Let's Play Live show that was happening in New York City. This is the third or fourth Let's Play Live they've done now. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the guys from Achievement Hunter, Funhouse. This time it was Couch Hop instead of Kinda Funny or Screw Attack, doing live Let's Plays in front of an audience and it's pretty cool stuff. They have like little gaming stations set up on the stage, and they've got all their webcams set up so you can see all the people's faces while they're playing the games. And they do like comedy stuff in between games too. It's not just all gameplay. They have like little skits that each little team does, and it was a really cool experience. It was 4 hours, just about 3.5, 4 hours at a movie theater, and I was happy I was able to see this one because I'd been meaning to try to go to one ever since they were first announced. And it was a lot of fun. It was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, my friend Brandon went to one. I saw that and I looked at it, and then when I saw you tweet it, I was like, oh, okay, I know what that is now. But yeah, it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, this was the first one that was done through Fathom, so I was just happy I had the opportunity to go see it. It's not the best done production, but it's their first one, so I'm willing to like be a little bit more forgiving. I don't know if it was our specific theater too, but the whole thing looked like it was in 480 like P, which kind of sucked because I know cinemas are capable of doing digital 4K nowadays. So I don't know where the problem was, if it was on the like broadcast end or if it was on the receiving end. Because I was talking to somebody else that I know that went, and they said that it looked fine in their theaters. So I don't know if it was a subjective thing, if maybe I noticed it, if it was a problem with our theater specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah, for a first time like live broadcast event, it was fun. The crowd was laughing. We were all having a good time, getting into it, watching these guys who we normally watch their YouTube videos, every day on the internet. We were watching them do this stuff live in front of an audience, and we were able to react live and respond to stuff that they were doing. It was really cool. Be there with a bunch of people from the community, just hanging out for 4 hours. It was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty. That's what's kind of like outreaching about it, right? It's like weird how something from the internet brings people together, right? But that's pretty cool because it indirectly creates more community by bringing people to a common place to do a common thing.
Yeah. And Rooster Teeth's been big on community from the start, so the fact that they've still continuing with it's really nice.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's the way to be, right? You can't really have success without people following you and supporting you. So
caring about the people who follow you and support you.
Yeah, and that adds the element. I mean, that's like I was listening to Gary the Vee the other day, and I listened to this 2-hour freaking video that he had, and it was great. I love listening to that guy. He gets me wound up, man. But he was talking about what were we saying? What were you saying before?
Community.
Yeah, so he was saying like what he's doing. He said Steve Jobs built Apple on being a dick. And he's like, I want to build VaynerMedia like being nice, like caring about his family. Like he knows personally, he sits down and talks with all these people, and I think that's the way to be. Like, right? You just you just gonna have to bring in people and give a shit about them, and then they'll work hard for you because you do give a shit about them. Like that's what he said. Like I go to interview, I want you to come work for me because I'm trying to see if I can deliver you the happiness that you think you deserve in a workplace, so that you work your hardest for me. And I think that's like a great way to look at it, right? Is like you want to make sure that these intelligent people, because it's a high impact, high risk job, right? Like you're doing shit for real. They want to be happy when you're doing it, and I think that's ideal.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I walked away just from the event feeling more inspired than I thought I was going to. I was like, this is awesome. This is what games can do. They can bring 2,000 people together in person at the venue, and then another, I think they're saying 5,000 people together all across movie theaters across the U.S. to just like enjoy the same experience all together because we all like games and gaming and these personalities. So it like walked away feeling pretty good, like better than I was expecting to, about like everything that we're doing here and just like big picture in general for games and gaming.
Yeah.
Who would have thought a couple of years ago that people would pay money to go watch people play games, live in person, surrounded by other people. It's a pretty solitary thing or people assume this is a pretty solitary thing, the kind of stuff that we do, be it streaming or videos or that kind of stuff. But it's really like a big experience sharing, united platform for most of us anyway. I'm sure for some people it's a very solitary thing, but that social component is there if you want it to be there, and it's definitely a lot bigger than I think most people realize.
Yeah. I think that's like when you get serious about anything, it's there, right? Like, if you want someone to give a shit about what you're doing on a larger scale, you have to bring that in. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like no man is an island, and that's kind of like what I'm learning is, you know, like I really don't love selling. Like I don't love selling in the sense of, in your face all the time. Like I really like that soft sell. And so it's always been hard for me to be like, I'm this, I do this, and like be confident with it because I want to seem humble.
Yeah.
But then like on the other side, it's like, well, I can do this shit or whatever. So it's a balance, right?
Yeah.
No, I get that. I've always hated like talking about my strengths and what I think I do well,
Yeah.
because I'm just like that's not me.
I don't know. Joe seems as if he has a lackluster amount of confidence. But
No, I mean, I talk shit to Jake all the time. Totally, I'm like, oh, but that's not how I totally like, you know, speak. Like I get excited about shit, and I totally feel like really confident in the stuff I do. But you know, it's reality check all the time. Like I see some good shit from someone else, and I'm like, God, I need to step up my shit there. You know, like I'm seeing all these brands now adopt brand stories. I'm like, well, I'm just doing this. I need to fucking get my head in the game and get there, right? Like,
Yeah.
you talk about like respect and earning, and there's like this Gary Vee video that I keep watching over and over and over, and it's like when I go to bed, it's in my
I gotta start watching Gary Vee.
I know, dude, he's amazing. And when I go to bed, you know, I like think of it, and he's like, he's
When I
talking
go
to
to bed, I think about Gary Vee. When I wake up, I think about Gary Vee.
Seriously,
I
dude,
hear
like-
his mantras in my head.
That's what it is, dude. Like I live by this dude because I want to put him out of business. That's what he says. Like, put me out of business. I'm like, okay, I'll put you out of business, Gary Vee. Not right now, but 10 years from now, maybe. Okay.
Working towards it.
Yeah,
That's good. It's good to have that challenge, that
Oh, dude.
aspiration, no matter where it's coming from. Whatever lights that fire underneath your ass, you know, like go for it.
Yeah, and that's what I like. I love like just. That's why like I could wake up 8 a.m. in the morning. I just started creating. Boom. You know, I have a logo, I have a brand, I have an idea, I have social posts, I have a video by 12 p.m. or by 12, whatever the 12 p.m. Yeah, and that's just what it is. You know, it's just like executing like that is just awesome, and that's what I like. It's not so much that I love the logo or that I love the video. It's just I like being able to create that shit and feel like really strong about, you know, an idea.
Oh, yeah. Like one of the other things that you talk about a lot too is like everything you do builds up towards progress. You know, even if you're not happy with it, eventually it still gives you something to build off of. You can look at it in the past and go like, oh, that's where I was and I'm here now, or just like, I'm not happy with this. This is what I'm not happy about, so I know this is what I need to work on. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So anyways, his advice, now that I've like pushed past that, is his advice is if you want to be respected, show the fuck up, right? That's what he says, right? Like, because if you want people to see that you're actually doing shit that you're saying you can do, and I'm big on this because I like him, am a practitioner. I constantly try and test things, and then I communicate like what I think works, and I try to back up everything I do with fact or logic and actual action, right? I'm a big action person, and yeah, and that's what it is. Show the fuck up. Do what you're saying, and practice it. Don't be like a BSer. I fucking hate bullshit. I really do. I hate people who BS me. I'm like, you're not that person. I know it, and that's why I'll win. You know, I'm gonna win you there, because I'm honest with myself, and I'll get somebody else to do that shit for me. You know, that's kind of what it is like, and I'm writing a blog about that, like how I'm learning through like what we're doing here, that like there's certain things that you're just not fucking good at, and like you have to be honest with yourself that you're not good at it, and you have to get someone to help you with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Joe, I'm not good at graphics. Can you help me out?
Yeah, I mean that's like that's the whole point of this, is like we're just fucking feeding off each other's skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a matter of each of us. Well, I think at least me and Joe. I think maybe Chris is a little bit more relaxed, but you know, the hard-headed confidence in ourselves and you know what we do, I think is hard sometimes, Joe, for us to realize like that we have to accept failure in some areas.
Well, I mean, I'm fine with failure, dude. Like I've failed so many times in my life. Like, you know, dude, I'm just slipping all over. I am the guy in the wet floor sign, just like this. You know? But
I
I
think you're
think
part of growth, though. It's
Yeah,
an opportunity
totally.
to learn. And as long as you recognize that, then you're good to go. If you're too scared to start something because you're going to fail, then you need to like change that mindset, because you're going to fail 1,000 times before you get something right.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that. That's not my original idea. I've heard that paraphrased a million different ways, 1,000 times. You know, everybody will say failure is part of like being successful.
Yeah. Totally. Fail fast.
Yeah.
And often.
And learn from it.
Yeah.
If you don't learn from it, you're doomed to fail again. And you still might fail again. You probably will fail again, but keep learning.
That's the Winston Churchill, right?
I don't know.
It's,
That's what exactly what I
those
said. I've heard
who
it.
fail to study history are doomed to repeat it.
Doomed to repeat it. Yeah. But even like the Rooster Teeth guys, to go back what you were saying a little bit earlier, anytime like somebody asks them, oh, how can I get a job? Or like, what advice do you have for me like working for you guys? And their response is always like, just do shit.
Yeah.
Make stuff, do whatever it is you want to do, just do it. That way you have like a portfolio to go back on, or you have like actual physical proof that you're capable of doing what you want to do for us. So yeah, it's always nice to hear that their advice is just like, just do it. Just stop talking about it and do it. Just make it. Yeah, you're going to suck at first. Everybody sucks at first. But you're only going to get better the more you do it. So
yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. 90% of people just suck. They'll say that they'll do it. They'll be like, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go make that video next week. Okay. You know, it's like that. That's what like the Everest college thing plays on. It's like, do it now. Pick up the phone now. Next week you'll be sitting on the couch and you'll be watching this ad, but you should do it now. You know, like that kind of thing. It's like,
it's just a call to action too.
yeah. Well, I get that, but it's playing off of that whole concept that you're just going to be sitting on your ass. Like, people would rather just grab their iPad, watch Netflix, and just cash out until their next 9 a.m. shift, right? But if you invest a couple hours each day into what you fucking want to do with your life, then your hobby can become your job. Like, it's not that hard. It's just, you just got to sacrifice a little bit of, you know, whatever your escapism is and make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole effort thing that people don't like to expend.
Yeah, what's effort, right? Oh my god. It's like, and
it
literally
just come to them, right?
It's
yeah,
like, you know,
that works.
that feeling like when you just start working out and you're like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. And then you start working out and you're like, I need to go to the gym. I need to go to the gym. It's like that. It's just literally like that. Like, you just start working and then one day it's like, I need to work because I need to feel good about completing something.
Yeah.
And it's just a habit.
You need that.
Yeah, exactly. Your brain is like, that's why I feel like if I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm older. If if I'm just sitting around, I feel like I'm just going to melt because like, I have to do something. I'll be doing like crossword puzzles, like in piles.
You'll still be designing. They'll have elderly assisted design tools by the time that we get old. I'll still be playing games as long as my hands fucking move. I'll find a way to play games.
Yeah.
You know, I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. I'll be that, like, you know, like 86-year-old person who has to have like an 80-inch TV just so they can read the text or whatever.
Well, that's like that one thing I share on Vimeo all the time. That Hal guy, he used paint and he used to paint pixel by pixel. Yeah, it's that'll probably be me. That's why I love that fucking video. It's just technology.
Absolutely, definitely see you doing that. Never sync to Microsoft Paint, even with their supposed redesign that's coming up.
Oh my god!
But you'll still be designing.
Yeah, for sure. Till I die, till the day I die.
Yeah. But yeah, I think those are the things I kind of wanted to talk about this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if either of you guys had stuff you wanted to talk about. I think we covered both the two that I wanted to do.
Yeah. So I
we were talking a little bit about movies earlier.
Yeah. So I don't know if many people know this, but I'm like a huge Ryan Gosling fan. And I just pulled up our Discord on the side here, so I'm gonna pull this over. Don't worry, Chris, none of your naked pictures made it on, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's how you get big quick now, right? You just leak news.
Yeah, I mean, whatever works. So I watched Half Nelson, and I know it's an older one. I've been told to watch it before, and it's kind of like regular Ryan Gosling, trippy-ish, because his normal movies are like really weird to follow. But the most recent one I've watched behind that was like Blue Valentine, which if you haven't seen it is like this middle-aged couple, not like middle-aged, like 30-ish, and they're kind of like at this weird point in their life, and it's really dark and kind of sad, but it's I don't know, I like how he acts, and I think he plays these roles like really well. He's like this very disconnected person. And I think sometimes it's easy to relate to that because you sometimes in life feel like you're in a weird spot and you're not the same as like the people around you, and I kind of like that aspect, and it's kind of an escape for me, right?
Yeah, it's a very human thing too.
Yeah.
So I think it's really easy to relate to.
And one of them, and that was, and I'm probably gonna watch that again because it was kind of weird, but I probably have to watch it. And then the other one was like In Between Two Pines was another good one of his. And it's just like about this motorcycle guy from like a circus, but that one's also pretty sweet, and it's also like the weird out there shit. But I don't know, that's what I like. I really like there's a couple like Lars the Real Girl and all these other movies. If you go through his IMDb, but he's got that kind of like weird, funny thing, especially in Nice Guys. After seeing Nice Guys, I was like, I gotta go back and see what I haven't watched from him.
Nice Guys is a good movie.
Yeah, Nice Guys is really fucking funny. So he's just a great actor.
Yeah.
Hence why he's the thumbnail on the YouTube live stream.
I've got to watch more of his movies that you recommend that I watch.
Yeah, I know he's great, man. I think
Yeah.
he's like he's like what James Franco tries to be. Honestly, it's like the way I see
My favorite one for a while was always Crazy Stupid Love. But that's because I haven't seen a bunch of his other ones.
Yeah, I mean he's great in Notebook too. Crazy Stupid Love is good. I've seen Notebook a lot more than I should have. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The Notebook. Oh god.
Any movies that you wanted to
I've only
shout
ever
out?
watched The Notebook. I don't know, dude. I think I've only ever watched The Notebook with the girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only time I've seen a Notebook. Too.
I've actually watched it by myself more than I've watched it with a girl.
But I think,
so.
yeah, no, but I think I think
Undeniably
even though the only
myself.
time I've watched it with the girl, I think I've still watched it probably a dozen times.
Yeah.
No, I mean the most
Start
recent movie
crushing.
that I was telling. You paused for a minute there, Joe, but I was telling Chris about the fact that it's kind of not many movie releases and stuff over here, and really the only movies I get to see are the stuff that's already out or has been out for a while that I can find online somewhere. But honestly, I think the most recent movies have been The Nice Guys, which I think you remember the night that I kind of walked you through where I was in the movie there, because that was really cool for me because part of the movie was filmed in Atlanta, and over the summer I was in downtown Atlanta for a conference for about a week, and I stayed in the hotel that is a bit of the end scene where they have like the car auto show. Towards the end of the movie, and so I stayed in that hotel that it was filmed, so that was super cool for me because I was like, shit, dude, I was right there. I saw all these places, so that was super interesting. But the only one really before that is Now You See Me 2. I don't know if you guys have seen Now You See Me 1 or Now You See Me 2, but I really enjoy those movies. They have good plot twists, which are super cool for me. And I also am just big on magic. So
Nice.
And I also love
Bonnie Stinson.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where I saw the trailers and I was just like, maybe I'll see it when it comes out, and just never got around to it.
I saw the first one. I was not super compelled to see the second one. Even though the first one was good, it was just such a large gap between them that I kind of like forgot about it, I feel like.
Yeah, that's very true.
It was like a couple years, and then they're like, oh, there's a second one.
You guys may have seen this. It's a bit older movie, but I watched it actually before I left. The Mechanic.
Oh, yeah. Christian Bale,
Heard
right?
of it. Yeah.
No?
No.
Jason Statham?
Yes. And so
Oh,
that
that's
movie's, I think it's about
Machinist, okay.
6 or 7 years old.
Yeah, The Machinist.
They just came right before I left. I didn't get the chance to see it before I left, so I've been like waiting for it or trying to find it online. They came out with what's called The Mechanic Resurrection, which is a sequel, but it's like 7 years later. So I was super pumped because I had just watched the one from like 6 years ago. I was like, no shot. Like they leave the ending open for a second one, and I was like, oh gosh, I just need to see a second one. And then like literally the day after I watched it, I saw like that they had released a trailer for the second one. And I was like, wait, no way. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to see that yet. But if you get the chance to watch the first one, wow, it's action packed. A lot of plot twists, which I like. And so if you get the chance to watch that one,
Nice.
very
Yeah,
well
I'm
worth the watch.
always down for a good action movie. Even though I just have it like playing while I play something else. Those are perfect movies to have on while you're doing something else.
Right.
Don't have to pay too much attention, still entertaining. It's great. Really love those kind of movies. As cheesy as they are.
Yeah. Cheese pizza.
Not quite.
Not quite.
But so yeah, speaking of stories and humans and relatable stuff, I think you had another topic to kind of tie into that, Joe.
Yeah. So brand boost. Yeah. Brand
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 boost.
boost.
What is brand boost, Joe?
Brand boost. What is brand boost? He says. So I think kind of when we first started coming up with the idea for the podcast, we were talking about like different ways to present it and kind of work through different solutions and we were brainstorming, right? We kind of pulled up this whiteboard app, and I don't remember what it's called, but I think there's a video that you told me not to upload. It was like me just pretty much drawing out kind of content strategy, and we were just talking about that, and that's kind of where the podcast was like birthed, right? I think.
Yeah.
So, and if you pay attention to like the Left Click Culture site, there's like these things called storylines, and that's kind of how I've organized the content into different little niche groups, and so you can find it easily. And the storyline that we were kind of debating for a while was entrepreneur, and we're kind of just trying to decide what to do with it, how to present it, and for a while I've been wanting to do like tips and tricks videos with design, but I felt like the speed art wasn't like totally getting where I wanted to, so I wanted to do like a lengthy series. And then I was sitting on the computer Friday night, Saturday night, and I was just like trying to brainstorm something, and I woke up this morning and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do something. And so I got the logo, got the text, and I was sending it in Discord, all this stuff. I was just like, boom, I'm done. I'm doing with this. I'm going with this. I'm going with this. Colors, boom, going. And I just did like self-auditing all morning, but it came out pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I woke up to that flurry of notifications, and I was just like, Joe's been busy.
Yeah.
Just like completely out of context notifications, but yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, it's kind of like the nomenclature to be aware of there is kind of like launch dates, and I think we were talking about this is we'll be announcing, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook the launch dates of these new episodes, but it'll be a weekly thing. The launch dates is kind of a call out to, what the category will be for that week, and if you want to pay attention to it, specifically because of the category, you can do that too. So maybe you just don't tune in every week; you just tune into one, or maybe you catch up later on, or you just pick your favorites. But that way, you can just jump into episodes. I'm going to organize them by segments too. So if you don't want to watch the first segment, you can just skip it. Maybe you already know that step, and that whatever project we're doing, maybe it's a program or something, you can just jump ahead. So it's gonna be really easy to get through, and I think we'll test and build it to be a better experience. But
very cool.
Yeah.
It's a great thing about VOD content. You can skip around wherever you want to. You can binge it. You can find your favorite episodes, like I did with Luke Cage, and I'm currently doing with Daredevil.
So you found your favorite episodes of Luke Cage? You haven't watched the whole thing?
I've watched all of Luke Cage.
Oh,
I'm just saying you can binge it because it's all available.
Yeah.
And you can watch it at your own leisure and all that kind of stuff.
Totally.
But yeah, favorite episodes of Luke Cage are like the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Sadly. Last episode's not bad, but it slows down a lot after halfway through.
Yeah, I think I'm near the end. It's just kind of like,
Yeah, we can talk more about it in a spoiler-free environment.
Yeah.
After the podcast.
So Jake.
Yeah.
What news you got to bring us from the Madrids?
I don't know anything from Madrid. There are some things that I wanted to talk about in terms of esports or games.
Sure. Absolutely.
I wanted to. I don't know if you checked it out, Joe. Chris and I were talking about it a little bit before the podcast had started, but about graffiti in CS:GO, and the spray is kind of reminiscent of CS Source and Overwatch now.
Sort of being the keyword there.
Sort of, yeah. And
it's another thing to market for sure.
Yeah. So I've been
my big problem with it.
Yeah, I've been taking people up on trying to debate me against it, but I don't think that there's anything that could possibly stand up to the argument of Valve focusing more on money-related things rather than actual issues, small bugs or even large bugs that still exist with the game. I don't know that there's an argument against that.
A lot of the
you know,
arguments I've seen in relation to the sprays have just been the pricing, because it's a limited use item. You can't just use it freely after you get it. They have limited uses. And then there's been a couple people making cases about not being able to use certain sprays in competitive because from a distance they might be confused for a player.
I feel like there's so much more bad that comes out of graffiti than there is good.
Yeah.
Like it's just not necessary for me. There's so many things like there's smoke glitches, and now the graffiti thing. Actually, I've been seeing a video about with the graffitis, like there's some sort of wall hack thing where if you spray a graffiti on a door and stuff, you can actually see behind it a bit.
Wow.
And so I don't know. Other than obviously there's going to be bugs and things when things are added, but it's more about not creating more bugs, right? It's about lessening the bugs that are already in the game.
Ones that already exist. Yeah.
There's still what I tend to believe to be some major bugs that should be fixed. So I'm kind of upset that I seemingly see new operations, new case, graffiti, and not something like fixing the fact that you can see people behind a smoke if you throw a grenade or a molly, and the fact that sometimes smoke grenades don't put out Molotov grenades anymore.
What?
And so that
sounds like a big problem.
There's a bunch of issues that it's like the first thing that you had on your mind was to release graffiti.
Yeah.
So
I understand that.
Classic Blizzard. Valve.
Yeah, the big thing is just sprays for the longest time were something that were unique to Source games because you could upload whatever the hell you want to do, and you could spray it in game. So you'd hop into, whatever, you'd hop into, TF1 back when it was a Half-Life mod, and you could still have a spray, and then Counter-Strike Source, you had a spray, even if that spray was an image of a terrorist that you would throw up on a wall to screw with people. It could be whatever you want to. And then TF, they had sprays, and now Overwatch has them. Granted, they can't be whatever you want it to be, but those are unlimited use items, and they don't interfere with things that are already in the game. They didn't break anything by adding sprays to the game.
But honestly, I like the concept of Overwatch sprays still a lot more, because even though they are unlimited use, like there's still something unique with them, and the fact that you unlock them over time based on achievements, or you're unboxing specialty ones in the Summer Games loot box. Or
they're just those other ones are the vanilla ones that you just get from loot boxes. You don't have to pay directly for sprays. You just get them by playing the game, essentially.
And one of the things for Valve is I feel like the argument that some people are going to make is, everyone in the community has been asking to bring back sprays, but it's more about am I glad that they listened to the community? Would have been nice if maybe they listened to the community 2.5 years ago when people were talking about that, or 3 years ago, or right when the game launched. It's just the implementation of it is so poor.
Yeah.
And so, just another, I don't know. I don't think since I've been on the podcast, I don't think that we've ever said anything in bright light in regards to Valve, but in some cases I love Valve.
The decisions that they've been making with Counter-Strike recently have been interesting. And like you said, there appear to be bigger fish that need to be fried before doing things like changing the gun sounds or releasing graffiti sprays.
Oh, it sounds so bad.
Yeah, it sounds like shit, doesn't it? That sounds terrible. I don't know if you were in Discord when I was talking to Joe about this, but they didn't even go the Battlefield route and get high quality gun sounds. They record themselves. Yeah, they got worse. The M4 especially sounds like garbage, and I hate it because I love using
staple guns and helicopters. And
I was the guy that stuck by the silenced M4 throughout the patches because I knew the spray pattern. I knew what I needed to do with that gun. I was good to go with it. And then I hop in and use it after the audio update, and I'm just what did they do? And I hear gunshots going around all over the map, and I have no idea what these guns are. Not a clue.
Yeah, it's I saw something, I think it was on Reddit, or it was a Reddit link, but it was to a YouTube video, and it was the way that Valve chooses what to update in Counter-Strike. And so it's they have they've done some graphical editing on a case unboxing, and so it's all the blues are updating a sound of a weapon, and then you have like the red is like the pinks are like adding in a new operation or a new map, and then like the legendary, like getting a knife would be like actually fixing
That's hilarious.
a big bug. And so when I saw that, it's like a 15-second video, but it's it's the funniest thing
That's awesome.
because it feels it feels true.
Yeah. It's sad, it's not going to stop people from playing the game. It's just one of those things where you're just like, God damn it, like, get your shit together.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's getting to the point where it's like people are so on edge. Like, it's like, how many times do they have to be like, yeah, we're just going to fish for money before people are like, all right, well, like, shit really needs to happen or I'm going to stop playing.
Yeah, it's just like, aren't you guys making enough money between, like gun cases and operations and sticker sales and all that kind of stuff? Did you really need another source of revenue from Counter-Strike? Did you honestly need to milk more money out of people?
Yes, capitalism win.
But yeah, it sucks. I wasn't aware of the fact that the graffiti sprays introduced additional problems to the game, and that also sucks to hear. Not knowing that they had continually like ignore the pre-existing issues and they add more to it by adding another monetized feature. It's just like it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. It's just like, what have we done to deserve this?
Very sour.
That sucks. That really sucks. The only like CS I'd watched was the last major, the one that was in ESL New York that we had talked about briefly. But that's since wrapped up. And apparently there's some pretty good matches that came out of it, but that's the most experience I've had with CS since we played it regularly.
Yeah,
it got me pretty hyped though. Not gonna lie, like watching those matches, the final got me super hyped. I was just like, God damn it, I kind of want to play Counter-Strike again now.
So my monitor was on 60 hertz when I played the other day, and I didn't realize it, and it felt like shit. And I was like, why does it feel like shit? And then I like looked, and I was like, wow,
with less than half the frame rate that you normally do.
Yeah, well, I thought it was on 144 like it usually is, but it wasn't. So
just need to get a G-Sync monitor, man.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Yeah, I have one, but supposedly it creates a lot of problems in Counter-Strike.
It creates a lot of problems with streaming too.
Yeah, so I have a G-Sync one. The monitor. I have 4 at home. That I use I have a 4 monitor setup. But I brought one, and I brought the 144 hertz G-Sync or whatever. But I don't think I've ever enabled G-Sync ever. So
it's a good idea, and it's something that I could see myself using a lot once I get a better rig. But I've seen some of the problems it creates with streaming just because of the frame rate issues and the refresh rate differences. Right. And like, maybe it's not worth the headache for now, so I'll wait until I get like a couple more iterations down the line.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. So I was just like, I'll leave it off for now. It's not like I didn't get like a super expensive like a ROG Asus ROG or something like that, but. It's still kind of disappointing.
Like $2K, that like one that's like $2,000 or whatever.
The ROG is like an $800 or $900 one, but it's like, I don't know. I think this one was like $300. It's like the cheapest G-Sync 144
I have like
hertz
the
you could basically
the
do.
Asus one, like the basic one.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Camera went out of focus. Had to get it back. I don't know what made it lose focus. That was weird.
I have like the VG248QE, which is like the most basic 144 hertz monitor out there. It's like the one you get if you don't want to buy the BenQ one.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's still like highly reviewed. It's still 144 hertz, which is nice. I think that'll probably be what my next like monitor is 144 hertz rather than waiting for a G-Sync. I'll probably just get that next. So I can play like Overwatch 144 frames if it supports that.
It does.
It actually has a very, very detailed and like selective. Like you can do like 1080p 80 hertz, 1080p 120 hertz. Yeah, it has options for like everything.
That's cool.
So,
happy to hear
play
that.
WoW. You can play WoW on 144 hertz, man. I used to rate 144 hertz.
Camera smoothness.
Ooh.
RuneScape in 144 hertz.
Fuck you, Jake.
Speaking of refresh rates, I was pretty happy to see that the BioShock Remaster PC port got a like 1.5 gig patch pretty recently, fixing things like FOV issues and refresh rate issues and it not saving your settings and mouse acceleration issues. pretty much all the issues that the original BioShock PC port had and that were carried over with the remaster. It seems as they fixed most of them with this update. Granted, I haven't played it since they updated it, but the patch notes seemingly fixed all the issues that I had with it, at least. So I'm excited to play that again. I'm probably going to play that on stream Monday. That counts as a spooky game.
BioShock, yeah, it's kind of nuclear dystopia and post-apocalyptic. It's a
Certainly made me jump already.
Post-apocalyptic dystopia.
God, I played the Outlast 2 demo Wednesday on stream. That was not fun. I'm just happy I didn't play it in VR because they had it at PAX East, but they had it with the VR setup, and I couldn't do that. It's a really easy way for me to break an $800 piece of equipment is by having me play a horror game in VR. Just nope.
Like
No,
run
thank
away.
you.
It makes me think of that movie that I used to love called like Stay Alive. You ever see that one? Where it's like one of the first decent gaming movies, and it's like if you die in the game,
That the one where you die in the game.
Yeah,
I have seen that
we
one.
almost had that sync up. If you die in the game, you die in real life. But it's just funny because that's like it was like I was at the age where I didn't see the cliche things like that. But like when you go back and watch it now, like in the trailer, it'll say that like 7 times. You know, if you die in the game, you die in real life.
We really want you to think you'll die. Yeah.
It's just like, oh my god. Yeah. Apparently, if you die in the game, you die in real life. Did you know that? Holy shit. You know? I wonder
I've
what
had quite a bit of fun
is, huh?
watching like reaction gifs from that demo because a lot of like streamers and stuff and YouTubers have been playing it because it's new-ish. And it's provided a good amount of entertainment just watching like these 30-second clips of people getting freaked out of this one specific part of the demo. And I thought my reaction was going to be worse than it was because I was like kind of working myself up. You know, right at the start, you know how games will have you like adjust your brightness just to the way that they like it or you like it or whatever.
Tom Clancy's The Division.
Yeah, so at the start of Outlast, it says adjust the brightness until the character is barely visible or something like that. And I was just like, what the fuck, what character? Like, I didn't even see a character in the brightness thing because he's like standing in a doorway and he's shadowed. So I like started looking around and then I saw the guy in the doorway and I was just like, fuck, already with the brightness screen? Are you kidding me, game? Starting the spooky stuff early.
Oh, it's like one of those like.
And then you get into it.
You remember that old like video thing people would send around and be like, "Look at your image like super closely," and you'd be like,
"Oh yeah," the Exorcist
and then
girl
like
would
pop out, yeah, and you'd be like, oh.
The Exorcist girl. It's always the same one.
I remember the first time like I saw one of those videos.
Yeah.
I was young. Yeah, it was a video of
like
oh
level
my god.
3. Yeah.
My mom showed me the fucking video and I screamed. I did not like that at all. God.
Yeah, because you're sitting there, you're like hyper focused on trying to get through the maze without touching the thing, and then it's just like, boom, you're like, poof, and you're just like,
and it screams, and you're just like, fuck you. Like I startle pretty easy to begin with, and that's why I'm not a fan of like jump scares. Like I can do scary stuff, okay. Yeah, that's jump scares I can't do. Like I can do like general horror, like gore and like spooky stuff. Don't really like bother me too much, but I'll fall for a jump scare. Like I'll jump right there, and that's what Outlast is. It's all jump scares because it's dark and you have a camera that you see through night vision and stuff's chasing you at times and pops out and does a really good job of creating tension. It's good at what it does. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, whew, I was like, could feel my heart rate going that entire time. Just like if I put my mic up to my chest, you guys could probably hear it. Like that's how hard my heart was beating playing that demo.
Well, that's like
I hate those kind of games.
That's like like the Nick Miller scene from New Girl, where he like punches Jess in that haunted house. It's like that's like me. Like it's not like I'm scared, but it's like that jump scare reaction where it's just like it catches you off guard. Yeah, and then
the fight or
you just
flight
want to
going.
like exactly. You're just like bam. It's like oh shit, that's a person in that mask.
Or
I
there's that.
hate
What is it?
haunted houses. I just like really am just like oh, because it's like that jump scare thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I think it's The Conjuring 2. There's some horror movie that did a promotional event where they like had a guy like
The Conjuring 2 is
and it's the same thing that happens. Like he looks into a mirror and like a ghost appears in the mirror and he like jumps back and he's calming down and then you see like the same ghost because it pans like a wider shot of the room. And you see the same ghost like slowly starting to approach him from the side and he turns around and like rather than freaking out, what does he do? He throws his water bottle at it or something like that. It's funny as hell, but it's like exactly that kind of thing. It's also like Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's also the kind of thing where I don't know if you guys have seen those haunted houses they do now, where it's like a zombie survival thing, where they give you like a laser tag gun essentially, and you have to shoot zombies, and it keeps track of like your ammo counter as you go through it and all that kind of stuff. But it's a haunted house, but they give you a gun, and it's like it's. I think that would be kind of fun, and I also think it would be the worst fucking thing in the world having people chasing after you that you actually have to shoot in order to make your way through the haunted house.
So once you
So I
get
don't
down
know like
into the
how I
mine,
would be able to handle it.
is there a laser tag?
What's up?
So once you get down into the mine, is there a laser tag?
No, it's just a mine shot.
Oh, okay. Well, is there an elevator ride? Does that go up and down? It's pretty slow.
Is it like a plummet? No, it's an industrial elevator. God, that's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well.
Yeah, what were you saying, Jake?
No, it's just like it's just funny, like the news that I get over here, and like the way people look at the news, differently from, the way that we view things at home. It's just funny. But one of the big things over here has been about all the clowns and stuff, which is just along the line of the things that we're talking about.
Yeah, it's everywhere here too. Saw a picture on Reddit today, and it was a clown on a sidewalk, and it said "Clown Lives Matter," and I'm just like, well, this has come full circle. It's time for this to die now.
I didn't even look into it because I just don't give a shit. It's just on my list of no fucks.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time before like somebody does it to be funny and then end up shot dead on a street because they decided to be funny to dress up in a clown costume and scare people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just waiting for that, and then the whole thing will end real quick.
It's definitely a way to get a good punch in the face from me,
Yeah, exactly. Putting your own life in danger every time you dress up in a clown suit and go try to scare people on the streets of a city. Yeah. Stupid fucking people. Oh well. I haven't seen one in Buffalo yet. I've heard like stories, but I haven't exactly seen one myself. And
so what is it? Just
hoping
people dressing up in clowns and?
Yeah, like creepy clown costumes, and, like stalking people on streets at night, or just like standing there creepily. It's just happening all over the U.S. because more and more people are doing it.
Oh.
As clown costumes become more readily available.
Kick him in the nuts,
Yeah.
Nice swift. It reminds me of something you'd see in like Supernatural, like, where they'd just be chasing down like some ghoul or some shit.
Yeah.
Classic
Bobby
Supernatural.
I can't comment on that one. One I've never seen, despite your numerous recommendations to watch it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of one of those like really niche shows. You gotta be into like the monster. I love monster. I was like a big Scooby-Doo kid, so anything like that's like an extended, mature version of that with like hamburgers and like guy humor. Boom.
Yeah.
Sold.
Yeah, there was one that it wasn't on for very long, but it was like about a guy who could see ghosts, but it was like a funnier one. And I was just like, okay, I can kind of get into this a little bit. I have no idea.
The Ricky
what
Gervais
called.
Netflix one. Like
no, this was like an actual
show.
No, I'll have to try and find it. It was just like some stupid comedy about a guy who could see ghosts and interact with them. Okay. But I know the Ricky Gervais movie you're talking about, and that was actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Don't trust with clowns unless you want to put your life in danger.
Yeah.
Well, the story there.
For sure.
People don't like clowns to begin with, and now that they're popping up, you're just gonna get yourself fucking hurt.
Yeah, if you stalk me in a clown suit, just full warning, I'll kick you in the nuts. Or if you don't have nuts, I'll kick you where you don't have nuts.
Yeah. I will injure you in some way.
Yes.
It's great.
Now that would be the scariest shit ever, man. If a clown were just following me, there's no way I'm fucking with that. And pushing you into traffic, okay? Self-defense.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. No patience for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Especially because then you're like, oh, it's an aberration, and then you're like, no, it's not. It's real.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, though. Like, you just don't know because people are that fucked up. You don't know if it's just like somebody trying to fuck around with you, or if it's somebody that's like actually a threat.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You're just like, yeah. People are fucking crazy nowadays. I'm not
Everyone
taking the chance.
is a threat. Everything is a threat.
Not to be like too cynical, but yeah, you can't risk that shit nowadays.
Oh, totally.
As fucked up as everything is lately, like no thanks.
Yeah, I've always been somebody who's on like high alert. Like when I walk into a parking lot, I'm always scanning. Just part of my character.
Always vigilant.
Not like I can really do anything, right? Like, but at least I'd like know that I'm gonna get shot. Like, okay, well, might as well. I don't know.
God, I still remember like
Hate to die off guard, you know.
stories of like, don't unlock the car too soon when you're like walking out in the parking lot of a mall because there might be somebody underneath, and I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah.
It's like that one Disney.
I've never
Channel
been like
movie.
that level of cynical, but people are. I'm out of stuff to talk about tonight. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Kind of doing a quick scan.
I had something, but I don't know. It's kind of like what?
Do you know what you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah, it's. I don't know that you guys care all about it that much, but it's kind of like I'd like to hear your opinion on it, whether you like it or not. But no, I had the opportunity to speak with founder of Mouse Sports on.
Nice.
I don't know, at the very beginning of this week, so pretty much right after the last podcast on like Monday or Tuesday or so. Gentleman's name is Tom Lemke. Great guy. He's also the vice president of business or of like business development for a company called Unicorn. I don't know if you guys know that company.
Heard it.
They do like they basically do like moderate gambling in esports type stuff, where they allow you to bet on different matches, but using virtual currencies and stuff that you get from playing the games on the front end. Then you can use that currency to bet and win prizes with the companies that they've sponsored up with on the back end. But it takes me just because I had been talking to Unicorn this week, and that was just, it was cool to be able to talk to the founder of Mouse Sports, because I had been a big Mouse Sports fan when I was back home, just because I like the players on the Counter-Strike team, and so I always rooted for them and watched their games. So to talk with the founder for about a half hour, so it was really cool. And so on the flip side, though, it just brought me to a article that I had read, I think yesterday or so, about Mark Cuban, and also goes hand in hand with an article from Washington, Seattle, that is. And so basically the situation is that Seattle, Washington, as a state, is calling for Valve to crack down on all gambling relating to Counter-Strike or any of their games. And so that would include, Dota 2, etc. And so the funny thing is that I was talking to Unicorn throughout this week, and Unicorn is also, moderate gambling. And Mark Cuban's article was about the fact, the reason that it relates to is because Mark Cuban has actually put about $7 million into Unicorn. And so I just wanted to get your opinion first on how you feel about that situation, about gambling in esports, and if you think it, would heighten the scene, lower the scene. And then also the reason that I brought Mark Cuban into it was not only because he invested in Unicorn, which is kind of funny because Cuban has come out just recently and said that he's not going to invest in an esports team. He has invested, like I said, into esports through Unicorn, a lot of money actually, but he's not going to invest in an esports team because he's afraid of how fast players burn out because of how much work and dedication that they put in, and they're playing 12 or 14, 18 hours a day. He's afraid that he doesn't want to invest money on teams that are going to burn out, and he just feels that there's too much confusion as to how it should actually work to this point.
Okay, yeah, I understand that point, because you see there's no like real regulation of player transfers, of player contracts, of player longevities, with the exceptions being maybe teams like VP and NIP in the CS scene. I have little to no knowledge about the league scene. I haven't watched it since it like first started. I occasionally see a couple names float around and I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember those guys from forever ago, but most of those guys aren't playing anymore. So I get that you're investing in the idea of an organization, essentially the kind of talent an organization can recruit. So I understand why he'd be apprehensive about starting a team or financing a team. But as far as the whole gambling and esports thing goes, I don't have a problem with it. People are going to gamble. on whatever anyway. As long as it's like regulated closely and you don't have 13-year-olds gambling. Like if you have full-grown adults that want to gamble on esports, just like any other sport, power to them. Let them waste their money on a chance to win skins or actual money, whatever. It just needs to be regulated, like officially regulated, and made sure that like it's a wholly legal affair. Wholly, comma, legal,
illegal.
not wholly illegal.
Wholly illegal.
Make sure it's completely legal
Well,
in every
wholly
aspect
legal.
of it. Yeah. Like if you want to go to like your local, off-track betting or whatever, and you want to like be able to bet money on CS or League, fine. If you want to do it online, if you want to bet your skins, whatever. I don't care. It's your stuff. It's your money. You do with it. It just needs to be legal.
Your stuff.
At the end of the day. Yeah. Just like anything else. Just like, I don't care. It doesn't affect me.
Right.
Those are my thoughts on it.
Yeah, no. I just like to hear other people's thoughts.
Yeah. It certainly makes people more invested when they're actually literally and physically invested in it. So
Right. No, I just find it funny. It's like, you all right there, Joe?
Yeah, I think my camera is just not having fun anymore.
yeah, it's frozen now.
Frozen. Sorry.
What about you, Joe? What are your
Um,
thoughts?
I don't really give a shit about gambling. I think it's stupid because I don't really like. I was standing the other day in. Can you still hear me? I was standing the other day
Yeah.
in the gas station, and I was just like, "Oh, scratch offs still exist." Like that's how much I care about gambling. Like I think it's so stupid that people just like dump money into that. Like when we could all, if we take all that money and just put it into like a fucking savings account for each other, like the World Human Savings Account, we would like be so much better off because it's just such
Or even to like
a
funding public programs. Yeah. I'm not saying that I think gambling is, the best thing in the world, but if people are going to do it, regulate it, do it right.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's stupid too. I've been to a casino like all of once in my life to gamble, and I'm just like, well, this is fucking stupid. And then I've decided it's not for me. So yeah, that's the extent of my interactions with gambling.
Yeah, I feel.
I don't disagree. I think it's just stupid. But people like my grandma were always.
There we go.
He's back.
Back.
Can we not hear you now?
Oh no.
Oh, you sound really far away.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But yeah, I'll kill some time while Joe fixes his stuff. But yeah, like gambling's one of those weird things where it's one of those things where I think people should have the choice about whether or not to gamble. If we're talking like broad strokes gambling, like it's your money, do what you want to do with it. But do I think the funds from gambling could probably be put towards something better? Absolutely. Funding towards like failing arts programs in school or sports programs or education or whatever. Just there are better uses for that money. But I'm not going to stop anybody from using their money however they want to.
And of course, I just find it funny that, I don't know, I like Mark Cuban. I like what he represents as a businessman. I hear some poor things about him as an individual. But no, I just find it funny that he put into gambling around these sports. Out of all things he could have invested $7 million in, into with $7 million, you could have bought out, probably one of, you could have signed a couple of really good teams with $7 million. Yeah. So I find it funny that, he chose, being, one of the biggest, I guess, like entrepreneurial type guys and investors in America, at least, that he decided to put all that money into something like Unicorn over a team or over, tournaments or something like that.
Maybe they have a proprietary software that there's licensing they have for that they can use for other things. That they might be
potentially. And I'm sure that there is. But I don't know, $7 million is still a very decent investment.
Not when you're a billionaire.
Well,
it's still a decent chunk of change, especially when the gambling market for esports and Counter-Strike especially is in like such a fucked up state, for lack of a better term.
Sure.
When most companies are running away from it like it's acid.
Well, it's like here's the thing with that. It's like I
Classic
said about
acid,
Valve.
it moves so fast.
Well,
I'm saying you wouldn't run
Just
towards
kidding.
acid, you run away from it.
You'd hope, right? You'd hope you'd have time.
Yeah.
But it's just funny that everything that Unicorn is doing is so reliant. Like, if Valve says we're cutting off ties with anything dealing with CS:GO gambling, this or this, and I think they only Unicorn right now only runs like 6 or so game types. They have Counter-Strike integrated, Hearthstone, Dota 2. But if Valve says no, we can't do anything, they send cease and desist orders out. That like everything that this company is doing is so hinged upon such a weird, like you said, screwed up market and scenario right now.
It's an interesting move, and I'm sure like one of his financial advisors were probably just like, if he has any. It's the same guy that like swore twice publicly on TV just for donating money for the hell of it.
So will I get fined for this?
Pocket money. Yeah.
Will I get fined for this? Nah, fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. This is that guy. Must be nice.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see money being poured into esports. At least it legitimizes it. Did he put it in the right area? That's not for me to say. It's his money. It could have been, put towards something better.
Well,
like
you aren't a financial advisor? What the fuck am I doing here?
Or what's the like technical term for people who are actually supposed to give money or advice about your best interest, like a fiduciary or something like that? Financial advisor is one of those terms that I guess people give themselves.
Yeah.
It's not a legally regulated term. And then there's an actual term that is government regulated, where they're supposed to act in your best interest or something like that. I watched a John Oliver video about it. I think it's like,
oh god, I love John Oliver
or something like that.
Oh, I love John Oliver so much.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. But yeah, especially when there's issues with League, especially where teams aren't earning anything until recently from like skin sales, and they're not earning as most esports players in general aren't earning a steady salary, and there's still no players union. There's still a lot of like lacking regulation and financial stability for a bunch of players and teams. So could he have helped out with that kind of stuff? Yeah. Did he choose to invest in gambling? Yeah. Does that kind of suck? Yes. Oh well.
Yeah.
Does it affect us? No. It's his money. We'll see if it pays off or not.
No, it probably won't, to be honest.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We don't know enough about the company to say that, though. They could have some kind of software that, like, could power the next dating app. You know what I mean? Like, he might have invested in it for a completely different reason than we see what the service company's doing.
Yeah, than esports.
And here's the thing. Like, even though Mark Cuban has a shit ton of money, an inconceivable amount of money,
inconceivable.
he still makes. He's not just going to throw $7 million into something he thinks is going to be a bust.
Yeah.
Like,
He's a smart
even
guy.
if it's $100, he's still not going to throw $100 on the ground because he thinks it's not going to do anything.
They do blogs apparently too. Interesting.
Somebody
What are you looking
it,
at?
probably.
They do blogs on Unicorn apparently. That's interesting.
Should have probably looked at it a little bit more than I did before talking with the VP of Business Development at Unicorn.
It's just weird though, because it's just like, yeah, we do all this gambling stuff, and here's gaming news in case you're interested too. It's just like, what?
Well, I think that's kind of them trying to take all their eggs out of one basket.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to keep tabs on them now. See how they end up doing. Yeah, their second article in their blog: Washington government rules skin gambling illegal.
Yeah, so
Posted on their own site. That's interesting.
Well, it's funny because I follow I've actually talked to the CEO of Unicorn as well, Raul Sood. He originally worked for Microsoft, left Microsoft to do Unicorn, which I think is just
do a unicorn.
to do
How does
Unicorn.
one do a unicorn?
But no, if you look at his, I follow him on Twitter, and it's just very, very funny to see the stuff that he posts, like about how against gambling he is, and like when the whole thing with like Team Martin and Syndicate and stuff came out about like how we just roasted them for like allowing underage gambling and stuff, and like their site is like there's definitely loopholes to their site to where the same things that have happened and cause so much havoc, and other locations can also be directly related to what Unicorn is doing. So I find it very ironic.
Yeah, I'm looking at the companies that own this Unicorn site, and it's Tabcorp, and Tabcorp runs LuxBet, and LuxBet looks like esports and horse and dog racing right now, which is they do football,
It's
baseball,
like
and
OTB,
soccer.
but like online.
Yeah, it's a really ugly site too, but they just do like gambling in general. It looks like, and this Tabcorp is the bigger, better game.
It's also an ugly site.
Yeah, like an early.
What is this? This is like something when I type in the wrong address and it sends me to a crappy website with other links.
Yeah. It's an Australian holdings company.
Maybe that's how they're getting around
entertainment
things.
company and one of the world's largest publicly listed gambling companies.
Maybe that's how they're getting around things.
Did you see that video I sent you guys?
Success.
Maybe. Which video? You sent us a lot.
Are you
of
talking
videos.
about like how like Apple's like in Ireland and shit? Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's a big talk. That's big talks over here.
Yeah,
that's a big thing.
Is it like people are offended by that shit over there?
Oh yeah, because I'm taking a lot of business classes.
Yeah.
So we look at
International
a lot of the
business
I'm
specifically.
taking international business, and so it's a huge thing, and it's like, Apple basically running everything in Europe out of Ireland, and even basically everything, because Ireland's tax rate is 3% versus if they were in the European Union, it would be 30%.
Well, it's in the United States. It's like 30. Yeah.
So yeah, that's big talk in terms of international business type stuff.
Actually.
Yeah, no, it's high. It's right around 40%. And so they run everything out of Ireland, and I think it's 3% or less, which is
that's nuts.
Yeah,
but
it's like the Burger King Tim Hortons thing. But yeah.
That's an interesting trail.
I love Apple. Do you like Apple, Joe, in terms of what they do with video and graphics?
Sure, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I like.
I mean, I absolutely I love what they do. I think absolutely incredible what they do with videos and graphics.
Yeah,
and stuff that's right up your alley.
You know me, man. I'm like a Google fanboy.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I use Apple products. I use the iPhone. I have the iWatch. I use an iPad.
I'm getting a new iPad.
I'm getting an iMac. I'm getting a MacBook Pro when the new ones come out eventually. So I like Apple products, but I'm a Google fanboy just because I just really love Google. I think it's fun. It's less about, it's kind of like what I said about earlier, Steve Jobs built a culture out of being an asshole, Apple, I mean, I'm assuming they're really good people, and that's kind of a generalization that we draw upon ourselves because the brand loyalists that they have are very just uninformed, and yeah, they're wannabes, and I really hate, I've had so many arguments where it's well, Macs don't get viruses. I'm oh yeah, you want to see that? Here, I'll give your Mac a virus right now.
It's maybe when they first came out and they were less than 10% of the market share, but you realize how many people use the OS or the Macintosh OS now? It's yeah, people are definitely going to target that.
Yeah, there's no reason to not now, but yeah, it makes sense totally.
I don't think we've ever talked about it, but at some point, Joe, or if you're interested, Chris as well, I need to tell you guys about the time that I spent when I got kind of randomly selected to go to the Worldwide Developers Conference in San Francisco, the Apple events.
WWDC.
Cool. Yeah. I don't know that I ever mentioned that to you, Joe.
I know. I think we've talked about Xcode a little bit, and I think when we were down that road, you might have told me about it.
Yeah.
That's neat. Yeah, the biggest thing with Apple is it feels like their marketing strategy has been the same thing for 10 years now.
But it works.
Yeah, it works because of all the brand loyalists, man.
Yeah, it's just nothing new. It's always the same video style with quick cuts and the
dude, but I love it.
Whatever you want to call those talking head. I like Apple because of the competition they breed, and I like their design's always really clean and minimal. But I also like what Google's doing too. I like the material design stuff from Google.
And I love material design, man. That's my favorite shit ever.
Have you ever seen the videos and stuff about kind of prophecies of where Google's going in terms of eventually they're going to be they're going to be like Google's basically going to run the entire world because they're
Yeah,
like
they don't?
diversifying themselves so much, and like
They're investing in all these really like
yeah, like they
odd
have
projects.
yeah, like they're they have cars, and they have they have all the online stuff, and they have like solar panels and environmentally friendly stuff, and like eventually they're just going to run everything.
Yeah, now they're getting into home automation with
Right,
their
yeah.
home system, their Pixel phones. Yeah.
You want to know how to get a job there? Go work for
I want.
Gary V. Be top 20% of Gary V's workers, and then he'll install you as a CMO there. So
Install you as a CMO.
that's his master plan. Is he wants to be like so powerful in his ranking that he'll hold that clout that he'll be able to install his best employees later on after 5, 6, 7, 10 years with him. I literally watched this whole video, and that's what he's talking about. And I think that's a brilliant strategy, right? Like, you kind of build this network, and then you say, okay, go free, and then you bring them to where they want to be, and then they're still working with you, kind of in a way, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, because it's hard to get a job at those places. Like, I mean, think about how hard it is to get a job at Google, and they are hiring a shit ton of people, like at Facebook, Google, Microsoft. But that's because that like it's if you watch Silicon Valley, it's like that Huli Roof group, right? It's that group that's like hanging out. They're all the people that their apps just sucked, but they were hired because they had a potential, and that's kind of what they have to do is like weeded that out eventually.
Take a chance.
Yeah. If you want greatness, you have to have a lot of the more you have, the more input you have, the more outcome you're going to have. So, more
You
probability
gotta take a
of getting
chance from
something.
time to time too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Like, I remember when people were initially freaking out when Google released that thing. I've talked to Joe about it before, but where you had to accept the fact that they were going to be collecting like all this information, or essentially delete your account. And there's that mass panic about you should delete your Google account because they'll just start like tracking everything you do, and it's just like they just want to offer you like more. At the time, it was just for like more targeted advertisements, and now they can like keep track of your location history because it's just like, oh, we notice you go here a lot. Like they have a sale now. They can do that kind of stuff. Or now they do stuff for like businesses are busiest during this hour because they see that people's location are in that spot for like X amount of time. So when you Google like the gym that I go to, it's like
Average
people typically spend
spent.
1 to 2 hours here, and this is like when they're their busiest. So that's like awesome, but it scared the shit out of people when it was first announced, and it's just funny now because I love seeing that kind of stuff. I'm perfectly okay with it.
We were using
like,
that
give me
in
all
New
the
York.
metadata you can.
Yeah, in New York, we were like, how long should we actually be here if we're doing it correctly, right? Like, we went to the MoMA, and we were like, average time spent, 2 hours and 40 minutes, and we were like, it's like, okay, well, I guess we're not average people.
Yeah, I can like waste days at places like that rather than just 2 hours and 40 minutes. Not waste days. I can spend an entire day at places like that. It's not a waste at all. That was a poorly chosen phrase, but I get what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, I love that kind of stuff, and it's funny you say that because like the new Google Messenger came out, and
I haven't played with it yet.
somebody was like, "Don't install it." Like Snowden was like,
Yeah.
I don't approve of this" or whatever. And then like a week later, Facebook's like, "Well, you can encrypt our messenger." Blah blah blah. Knock knock.
Yeah.
But if you think about that, right? Like that's how agile you have to be as a tech company to be able to respond to a weakness of a product. Like Facebook jumps out with that update, and they're like, "Oh, boom!" Immediately, like a week later, playing against Google. So.
Yeah. It's that whole security thing is interesting because like part of me is just like, yeah, I should probably be a little bit more secure, and another part of me is just like, I don't care about like metadata tracking and all that kind of stuff.
I just
So
don't post shit that people would want to kill me for, so that way they won't track me down with my metadata and kill me.
But yeah, I don't get it. Like the need, people were like freaking out when they showed whatever messenger that I think it's called Whisper or something like that. The messenger that they use on Mr. Robot. They're just like, oh, where do I find that? And they found out it was an actual app, and people are like going crazy for it. It's just like, this is awesome. I'm just like, that sounds like the stupidest fucking thing in the world. I have to like double tap to confirm that I want to see this message, and then it deletes itself after a while. It's just like, that's what Snapchat's for. Snapchat does that now. If I want to like a message to delete itself, I'll send it through Snapchat. I don't need to download a specific messaging client for that reason.
So I have Wicker, and that's what they were using. But it's an encrypted source, so it's basically what Facebook's doing now. So you just need Facebook Messenger
But I
Yeah.
use a VPN for my phone.
Which
anyways.
you have to have anyway. Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
like if I need to send something like that private, chances are it's not being sent through my phone.
Yeah,
End of
well,
story.
yeah.
Sometimes you need to see it. Like there was a little bit where I was like skeptical that people are just like, oh, you don't access your bank account information on a public hotspot. I'm just like, yeah, I probably shouldn't. They really need to like check what
Probably
I got right
shouldn't.
now on Barnes and Noble, AT&T Wi-Fi or whatever it was.
Yeah, when I was in New York, I was rolling the VPN up every time I connected, just because I feel like in a place like that, there's got to be somebody just sitting there pulling shit
Bored.
down.
Yeah.
So.
On a
Yeah,
real quick
yeah.
side note, is Snapchat? I keep
Oh, bye, Jake.
I keep seeing nothing because Jake just goes
Snapchat didn't want you to talk shit about that.
this happen.
Oh, you're back. Welcome back. Snapchat.
Refresh. Is Snapchat the company that is getting ready to go public?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think Snap. So what
Snap
it is
Inc.
there's Snap, which is like 2 P's, and they are actually a product company. They're a physical product company, and they introduced the first glasses. You know, the
Oh, the
Snap
Snap
glasses.
glasses.
Yeah.
And they own Snapchat. So they're launching an IPO, yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
On another side note, just and back to Google and to things we've talked about earlier, you guys have seen the internship, right?
Yeah.
I have not. Joe loves that
Oh,
movie.
I
you got to watch it. You got to put that at the top of your list.
I think it looks just so stupid.
Wait,
Like, I
wait.
don't
Oh.
care to watch it.
Wait,
Vince Vaughn and Owen
we were in a
Wilson.
blender, and now we're saving lives? What? What? We were in a blender, and now we're saving lives. What? It's like what they do.
Yeah, first article I see from the Christian Science Monitor reports Snap Inc. ready to compete with social media giants, prepares IPO.
Yeah, it's like they're getting ready to set out on I think it's going to be like a $25 billion, that's their estimated value. God.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean,
Just a simple, and I'm assuming Snap is really owned by the creators of Snapchat, right? Or
Yeah, that's they just
they
rebranded.
created that so that they'd have a company, not just an application to be investing in. But it's just crazy, like how I've actually, because my roots are in iOS development, like I've taken a look at the Snapchat, like the coding behind Snapchat, and like minus like a lot of the database stuff that they'd have to deal with now because of how many users there are and how much stuff is being sent, is like, when it gets down to like the grassroots of what Snapchat is, it's like such a simple concept.
Yeah.
It's like you think just out of a simple app, a couple guys that thought of this and put it together, it's like $25 billion is
their
just
profit.
crazy.
That's why I think they are introducing physical product now, because they haven't been able to generate profit from Snapchat. Like the more monetization they've put into it, like you'd see with Instagram or YouTube and those kind of card promotions and shit they've tried to do, it just hasn't worked. And then they've seen less retention from users as they've introduced more and more of that. So they've had to pull back now, and I think that's kind of where they're going. It's like, okay, well, physical products that interact with our app, and we could sell those, make a profit from those, and the app is like this free thing where we kind of sell stickers and tags, or what the fuck they sell.
And then they have like the promoted filters and stuff too that companies can pay for.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like those little gimme things.
Yeah.
But it's smart.
That's
It's that
Twitter will tell you
geolocation.
can't run a business off of that though.
Yeah. I don't know.
Do they also make money from? I've heard people talk about it in the past, because when I was in high school, like our high school had actually gotten a geofilter. Do they make money off of like people submitting geofilters?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm pretty sure you can
It's like the Pokeball.
request to get one added.
Lure.
Yeah. You can
Okay,
like pay to have one added or something like that.
Yeah, because I think it was like a super big thing that like our high school had a geofilter, but it was like it costs like supposedly a really deep, like the school that I went to was in like a very high class, close to high class neighborhood. So there was like some very, very rich kids that were going to the school, but it was like somebody had to pay like hundreds and hundreds, if not like thousands, to get this geofilter added. But they felt like they were king of the school once they did that.
Yeah, it's
Probably
funny because I see like Snapchat stories, and I see that more and more schools are like getting their own Snapchat filters because they see like, oh, our students actually want to use this, so we should probably pay for it. As stupid as it is, like, yep, part of the school's budget is now a Snapchat geofilter. Congratulations, world. That's where we're at right now.
But just imagine like all the amount of money that they could just make simply off of that, like the thousands and thousands of different places just in the US that would be willing to spend a couple $100, if not a couple thousand for that.
Because people are going to be using it and they want their logo, their product featured in these snaps or whatever, even if it's something stupid. Like people will use it just to use it because it's on Snapchat and it's new and they're just like, what the fuck is this thing?
Yeah.
Because that's where Snapchat's at right now. It's just such a normal part of people's lives. They're just like, yeah, not.
Well, two Silicon Valley relations, right? Like, one is when then he goes to build that app with like the mustache people. That's like Snapchat, right? Like, oh, look, we could put a mustache on you sitting backwards or something like that, you know. And the other is like you can't look at the valuation necessarily as a good or bad thing, right? Like you have to think about it as, is it a good valuation for productivity within the business, right? Like we looked at in like Silicon Valley, you look at those. I think it's Silicon Valley, right? We look at those different things, and it's like if you went back and you could have got lower funding with your, initial series, would you have done it? And you'd be like, holy shit, that was a good idea. I would have had less money to make up with revenue. Like you think about that. So it's like it's more like the percentage of its actual ability to generate revenue, and Snapchat hasn't really done that. So maybe Snap can, but I don't know.
Yeah, the glasses are going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Sure. I think the price point is just about as good as you can ask for.
Yeah. No, I was thinking. If I had to make a comment of that was going to be the comment that I made is like I haven't really looked into it and seen like actually like how good the glasses are themselves and like. I don't know, like the materials that are used and like, are they actually a good set of glasses other than the fact that you can, whatever, take Snapchats with them? But I mean, the price point I think is incredible for a wearable.
So what are we at?
Oh yeah.
What is it at?
A little over $100.
Like I think I saw 115, but I don't want to be
so it's a
quoted
little.
on that.
So Google's glasses were like a grand, right?
Oh, Google Glasses.
You can't really compare it to Google Glass.
Yeah.
They're two different like.
Is that project pretty much dead though, or
for the time being?
Okay, because I had originally I had gotten accepted to be a developer, but it was still like I was gonna have to pay like
$130 are the Snap
Yeah,
glasses.
I signed up too, and then it was like a grand, so I was like, no.
It was 1,000. I think mine like at total cost, like because I was actually gonna get them with
Your
a
friends.
prescription lens, and so it was gonna be like almost 2,000 something. I was like, it was just completely unreasonable. But gosh, dude, when I was at WWDC, that just brings me back. Like there were some other like younger kids at the time. Like I was like 17, no, it's like 16, I guess. But there was like some like 13 and 14-year-olds that were somehow there. I don't really know how, but they all had like their Google glasses and it was, it was gross.
A neat experiment for the time, and I don't think they're going to go anywhere. It's first foray into wearable tech for your head essentially, and as AR and VR become a bigger thing, we might see the next iteration when they can make it even smaller, even more discreet, more
but then again, it's Google,
less stupid
Google,
looking.
so it's like they have plenty of money to do it right if they want to do it right, and they're not going to be. I mean, somebody's going to be bummed that they spent a lot of money and time on it, but it's Google,
It goes back to like
plenty of other assets.
Like we were talking about earlier, it could have been really big. Now they've got all that feedback from when it was announced, so they can, if they want to, they can start work on the next iteration of it, and maybe it'll fail again. Maybe these Snapchat glasses will fail. It's going to be an interesting launch for sure if you're interested in like tech and wearable tech and all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, I'm glad they tried to do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think that just about wraps it up. Unless you guys got anything else.
Gucci.
I wouldn't say so.
What was that, Joe?
So I'm Gucci. It's pretty lame
Alrighty.
to say, but yeah. I'm good,
That's
man.
all right. Well, that's fine. It's one of those like funny little things that one of the funny stupid things that we can add that we say all often.
Oh yeah, I'm always throwing that around. I'm throwing around those young gangster terms.
We Gucci, yeah. Just the stupid.
Well, with Austin
shit.
not here anymore, it just seems weird, Like he used to always throw around those really random ass terms, and then, yeah.
Yeah. They dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah, that he just took with him. to Mordor.
But yeah, so yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us for a little impromptu bonus episode of Love Culture Podcast. My name has been Chris. We're gonna do our normal outro kind of stuff. I don't know what I have coming out this week. I might be prototyping a new show for Left Click this week, so that's probably where most of my attention will be. Barring any upload issues, again, this episode of the podcast will be live on YouTube tomorrow night. So you can check that out on youtube.com/leftculture when it goes live, probably around 7 or 8-ish, barring any issues. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Chris Butler II, same place as always. And yeah, that wraps it up for me. So, Joe?
Hey, what's
How
up,
about
CJ Joey D? You can find me at Joe on GFX. Pretty much everywhere. So coming up, we have the brand boost, and so we're gonna have that once a week, and you can see me on that because I know you want to see me talk more. Haha. But
You
yeah,
got a little tease for podcast viewers, maybe, about when the brand boost is going to come out? Maybe a little,
yeah,
insider info?
October 20th. There's a brand boost coming out about social, so we're going to be talking about kind of what we've learned so far with Left Click Culture and kind of managing across multiple pages and creating content that is iterative and simple, that kind of ties the brand together, that expands more on the recent design time lapse and kind of recap that we had in the stream. So Jake pointed out a few questions in there, and they'll be kind of looking at some of that stuff as well.
Very cool. How about you, Jake?
Yeah, for me, so other than the fact that I'm going to try and get some reservations at the oldest restaurant in the world, and maybe have a story to tell on on that if I get the chance to to eat the lovely cuisine that I bet is there. I plan. Personally, I'm looking to actually work on. I've been telling Joe this, but it's been a matter of just starting. I'd like to start rebranding some of my Twitter stuff, my personal Twitter, as I'm starting to do like a lot more projects and delve into a lot more things and talk to higher ups at bigger places and stuff. Like to start kind of taking my high school fun Twitter account and start branding it into a more professional, like future proof and forward looking sort of ordeal. But also I think there's some things that we need to talk about in terms of my place in left click culture and potential content creation, or some things that I'll be doing either back end or front end stuff for left click culture as well.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Alrighty, and as always, this has been the Left Culture Podcast, special bonus episode. You can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/leftclicked. Be sure to follow us there to get notifications about when things like new video series go live, when podcasts go live, tips, tricks, all our progress, all that fun stuff can be found on social media. Our live streams are on twitch.tv/leftclickculture. You can find us there, and we're also been testing out YouTube, so let us know if you guys are into that, if it's something you think you'd like to see us pursue a little bit more. And I mean YouTube live streams, I don't mean video uploads, because going to be doing that too, and you'll start seeing videos being uploaded to Twitch as well, now that we can do that, because as we were talking about last week, you got to do it to stay in the game. So yeah, follow us on Twitch to be notified when videos go live on here, if this is your preferred viewing platform, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It's fun as always.
Always
a
Talking to you
pleasure.
guys. Yeah.
Always pleasured by your voice,
Always.
Chris. Always pleasured by your voice.
Ooh, I'm got to be one of the few people on earth to be happy to hear the sound of my voice, but thank you.
Yes.
I don't even enjoy the sound of my voice, but people know that. All right, guys. Have a great night.
You too.
Alrighty, I'll stop up.